I wasn't allowed to read the script for the film or know what the film was about or see the Korean original on pain of unemployment. Yorgos gave me 3 words, which were bees, basement, and spaceship. And then I was told to come back in a year's time with a full orchestral score.
Yes, we've shaved off your hair.
Why have you shaved off my hair?
To prevent you from contacting your ship.
This is, I believe, the first script that just sort of came to you that you've done. What about this said, I'm going to go in a different way here and I'm going to make this movie?
The fact that it was great. Yeah. Like it's not every day that something comes to you and you read it and you get so excited and you feel like it's almost ready to go. And I immediately sent it to Emma, actually the same night after I read it. I finished it and go like, I think this is great. I should send it to her and see what she thinks. And I guess you liked it.
Yeah.
I assume you liked it.
Yes. I did very much.
Well, this is the 5th collaboration, and you're a producer as well here with you and Yorgos. What was about this character, though, of Michelle? She's so interesting, and there's so much that you have to do in this film, physically and otherwise.
It was a completely different character, obviously, than anything I had gotten to do before. The kind of CEO corporate speak of her life and world was fascinating. And with Jesse's character, with Teddy and Michelle, it feels like in many ways they're kind of 2 sides of the same coin, because they're both led from this belief that they are here to save the world, just in completely different ways.
It's based on, however loosely, from a South Korean film, right?
Yes, very loosely. I didn't know of the film before. I hadn't seen it, and neither had Will Tracy, actually, that wrote the script. It was Ari Aster who was a big fan of the film, and it was his idea to see if Will would be interested in adapting it. So he watched it just the once, Will Tracy, and then he just worked from memory. He just ingested the premise, and he felt that he needed to be free in order to reinvent it and bring it into today's world. I went and watched the original film to make sure that it was different enough that it warranted a remake.
Can we talk about your dynamic here with Jesse Plemmons, who is next level in this film with you? And developing that, kind of back and forth that you two have to do. Was there a lot of rehearsal, or how did you do this?
I mean, typically we do a fair amount of rehearsal on Yorgos's films. Here we had just made Kinds of Kindness, and that was a triptych of films. So it felt like Jesse and I had done 3 films together, and this was our 4th. And he's just such an incredible actor and such a raw nerve in this. But our rehearsals consisted of running lines again and again to make sure, it was within us and we weren't searching for it in any way.
Robbie, Ryan, this was VistaVision. VistaVision is making a comeback.
It's a comeback, kid. Get used to it.
Why did you decide, you and Yorgos decide to act? Because those cameras are still lumbering big kind of cameras here.
They come in different sizes, but we shot Poor Things, and Yorgos wanted to explore VistaVision on that film, and we found a camera for that one, but it was very noisy, so we only were able to do 1 scene with that, but really enjoyed filming with it, and the results were really, really spectacular. So Yorgos was very keen to try and do a whole feature film on it, which we endeavored to do, and we researched getting cameras, and we found a lovely camera called a Wilcam 11, one of a kind, that is a little bit quieter, kind of a character of its own. It's a big kind of camera. It has quirks. What was the thing? I keep forgetting what you say.
She's gorgeous and she knows it. She really knows it.
Yeah. That aside, the results are really beautiful. And I think the idea of going on a larger format camera for an intimate film is a very clever idea. And, it worked.
It's a great idea. And it's so crisp too. Is that something that attracts you to using these cameras in this kind of look?
Well, I liked it anyway, and we were looking a way to shoot on VistaVision from before, as Robbie mentioned, but I think the larger format creates this kind of portraiture that feels almost like, medium format still photography in a way. And because this is a film that focuses a lot on these characters, we decided that we prefer to focus on them, and that kind of tonality and depth of the larger format just elevated those images of human faces. And of course, it also works really well on vistas, as the name says. It was quite restricting to use it, but at the same time I find that very, very beneficial. With Robbie, all of the films that we've made, we kind of made up our own rules in a way and created our own limitations. So we just create this language that we're going to be using for this film by limiting the choices that we have. That could be lenses or camera movement. So the choice of using this camera was already a restriction, which we tried to use to our advantage.
Jerskin, great score, and it's one that I would think would be really challenging, considering the different kind of ways this moves through very dark kind of scenes and some very funny scenes and all kinds of things.
Sure. I mean, it was challenging for what is probably a slightly different reason. Through a decision by Yorgos that could be described as either an experiment or a punishment, I wasn't allowed to read the script for the film or know what the film was about or see the Korean original on pain of unemployment. So Yorgos gave me 3 words, which were bees, basement, and spaceship. I was aware at some point Emily would probably have her head shaved, and then I was told to come back in a year's time with a full orchestral score. So,
oh, you are something, Yorgos! Wow.
No, he is. He pulled it off.
Exactly.
So, how did you pull this off?
I mean, a lot of the process I would do for music anyway involves I have very academic blood, despite not being a great student. So a lot of research goes into the music before I start putting pen to paper, looking at these ideas, trying to find the connective tissue. So between, say, bees and basements and spaceships, there are a lot of like geometric patterns you can try and find that with commonalities to all 3. Ideas about altitude, from things very deep beneath the earth to, very far above it, which I would apply to, say, the pitch classes of the orchestral instruments. Lots of these like ancient civilization mythological ideas about bees and, say, like honey coming from the stars if you're Greek, honey coming from below the earth in the basement of the earth if you're Latvian. So there's a lot of juice to be squeezed out of these words if you squeeze hard enough.
All right. Congratulations on that. I'm afraid to ask Jennifer, what kind of marching orders were you given for the costume design here?
Kind of like, in a way, like what you went through is this gift of getting the opportunity to just go wild and have like these psychedelic fantasies about what these worlds are and really like loosen up in a terrifying way, but getting over that terror and really just letting yourself be free to design something that complements the world that Yorgos and Will were going after. You think about the canon of sci-fi film design and costume design and kind of how high-tech it all is, and wanting to take it down to a very elemental, natural state, and working with James Price and looking at his set design. That is something non-technological, like something very, from another time, very elemental, and we're getting outside of capitalism, we're rejecting industrialization, getting back into the body and elements of communal.
And Torsten, great hair and makeup job. You had a lot to do in this picture. So talk about the designs here of those looks.
Having like all the journeys that every character went through, it was hard work for everyone, but it was really easy for me to like have the teamwork between like, what does the house look like? What does the spaceship look like? What does her, like Michelle's house or Teddy's house? And then you just build it together with, JJ's ideas, James Price's ideas, and then making Yorgos happy. And then that way you just put all these like puzzle things together.
No ideas, just happy.
Yeah. Very important.
That is very important. Well,
and then the scripted notes were just like, her head is going to get shaved. It's going to be shot in a car. It's going to be very tight. And we want to shoot this all night. And you just have to map it out and work it, and then she's in the basement, and then she's going to be white for a hot minute. So, and then she's allowed to take a shower, and we move on from there. So it's just like it's easier to maneuver through that when you kind of know all the work that comes your way.
Well, our time's up, but having seen this movie, very memorable movie, I think you all made Yorgos happy, and Yorgos, you made all of us happy. So thank you all.
Thank you.